times from the marketing platform for fit, a lot of that would be child-based. So you kind of already have them going in a direction. Number one, we try to do a great job at keeping our inventory list caught up for you guys. So I think there's a few ways for y'all to see it. You can see it on the Child website and look at our inventory. I think it's also on the Fit and Simon House's website. So that's a great way of just being aware of what someone might call you about. Someone might give you a ring about 183 Pine Chapel, and if you were to be aware that that's actually a house that exists that you could sell and close on in 30 days. That's kind of good information because it makes you that expert whenever they call you on that product. So being aware of what we have, I think it really would help you out. Just being able to have the right knowledge whenever you get that lead come in.
Right.
From that point, it really is coming down to evaluating what the client's needs are. I would say that we do two different types of building. So we do what would be kind of middle class entry level new construction. So stuff that starts out in the high twos to maybe the high threes, and a lot of times we'll just build those houses. And
that includes like the plot of land also, those prices?
Oh yeah, yep, sure does.
Well, yeah, that's really good actually. So
I try to have 4 or 5 of those going all the time, just so that I have stuff that's not sold that people can sell. And I try to keep those reasonable because that's your normal buyer. Your normal buyer is
right.
250 to probably 400 is that standard buyer. Above that, you're going to get into what you would then start calling maybe custom building. And that's whenever somebody wants a specific house or specific things in the house. They may want a specific location that's not necessarily neighborhood based. Maybe they just want to live in a certain area of Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
So you start getting in that, and then that client's going to require a little bit more than just basic knowledge of what's out there. From there, you're going to want to know, where might we have houses? So being in touch with John Bencheck and John Beasley and Rachel Beasley, so knowing where we have different houses is a great start, because those houses are there for you guys to use as a tool. Just like the Dream Center is, if you want to have somebody find that somebody has a knack for wanting to do design, you could use the Dream Center just to set the meeting so that you can, start talking about houses, not even necessarily building a home. But the same thing with knowing what kind of we have that's out there. You guys have that as ability to walk people through product that no other agent in Hampton Roads is even aware of or has the ability to tell people about. And in this game, knowledge is power.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm looking on because I honestly, I hate sounding like I don't know what I'm talking about, which obviously here in the beginnings, I'm so fresh. I'm, where it comes to contracts and such, I'm really not going to know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to have to kind of, hopefully I'll get some patient clients in the beginning.
Yes.
But I'm looking on the job website at the inventory. So how come you guys build so much without having the buyers for it? I'm curious. I mean, like I'm seeing all these that are already built.
Yes. Yeah. So I try to have a decent amount of product out there that any consumer can just try to buy and close in 30 days. Because, you have a good percent of your consumers that don't have anywhere to live for 6-7 months while they're getting a house built. So I have to be a little bit more conservative a lot of times with that product, because I want it to be my funnel of people. I want it to be large that can fit into that product. So I kind of keep that price point a little bit more sensitive. And so that makes for that everyday buyer, there's something for them to come into. But I would say right now, I've got 25 projects going. Only 5 of them don't have buyers. So most of what we're building is with the client. And again, I'm building a custom built ranch in Suffolk for like $320,000. So it isn't, you don't have to spend $500,000-$600,000 to be in that custom built arena. Now the house is small, so 1,300 square foot ranch.
Oh wow!
Yep.
Okay.
But
Because that
they
includes
wanted
the
to,
land, right?
yep, it includes the
That's
land. It is a
expensive,
beautiful
yeah.
neighborhood. It's the lots on the water. So they didn't want to put so much investment into the house. They love the location, and
I see. Yeah.
so custom built doesn't even necessarily mean custom money. It doesn't mean you
Yeah,
have to have.
yeah. Well,
But
that's neat.
but we do try to facilitate a custom opportunity for the client according to what their budget is.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that I have to be. I think that I wish Brian was in the room for this question. I think that I actually have to be some kind of certified with Brian for me to even sell any job options right now, which I can become later. Do you know about that?
I know that a lot of times John Benchek will put on a new home training.
Yeah.
And I think that Brian likes for everybody to go through that new home training once
Yeah.
before they get onto the child leads.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, but I
But
like to hear about it from you, definitely. Are you like a contact that we can ever call if somebody has, if by chance, if I did ever get a client that, they just say, oh yeah, well, we want to do our own thing completely and we have the money. You are
and
the,
this is the thing: if you have a client that's like, "Hey, I have $450,000. I want to live in Suffolk. I need a ranch."
yeah,
Uh, that's enough to get started. From that point, your first thing you want to do is confirm qualification. So,
that they're,
make sure that you have confirmation that what they're wanting to spend is real.
gotcha.
Um, from getting confirmation on the finances, your second goal is you need to sit down and evaluate from your conversation with them, does their budget that they're qualified for meet the expectation of what they are asking for? So in other words,
Yeah,
if they came to you with a 450 budget, but they want to build a 4,800 square foot house,
marble and yeah,
they're crazy. It's never going to happen.
right.
Um,
Yeah,
so, but if you can say common sense says I have an intelligent buyer, they are qualified,
right.
and what they're asking for, they want a 2,200 square foot house, and they have 420,000 to spend. These are reasonable
Yeah.
expectations. From there, I would say, I would get on the phone with one of my agents, either Rachel, Jonathan, or John Benchek, and say, hey guys, I have a client. I've evaluated what they're looking for. They're wanting to be in A, B, or C areas because we have tons of land that nobody else knows about.
Awesome.
So you want to tell them maybe a school district or something like that, and then say they're interested in a 2,000 square foot ranch. You guys got anything that I could show them? Because your next step here, once you know they're qualified, is you want to walk them into a product, even if it's not finished. But that again gets them, you're going to be able to get a feed on, are they really excited about this process? Does this look like something that's going to be good for them? Do they even go ahead.
Also make sure that they're open, that they know it would be 10 plus months that they'd be homeless, so to speak.
I would say that a lot of times, depending, let's say that I already own the land, you're looking at probably 6 to 7 months. If we don't own the land, you're looking more like 7 to 9 months.
Oh, that's okay. Gotcha.
And then it depends on the scope of the project. How much detail, how much changing. Do they want to create a whole new house plan? That takes time if that's what you want to do, but we can do that. We have an architect that works like on staff for me. So, he's designing houses for people all the time.
Yeah, I need to go out and see the Dream Center. I haven't done that yet. Brian, now that you're back in the room, I have to get some kind of certification to ever sell for CHOB, right?
To no, oh yeah, not to sell for CHOB, but to get the CHOB specific leads, you need to.
Oh, okay.
You need to work with John Benchek and attend a couple classes. I forget. And once you go through that process, but because you're in the pond, the more you can learn because you're talking to people that asked about CHOB houses, like 80% of them.
Yeah.
Whenever you have those leads, yeah,
she's catching something.
Yeah, so if you're fishing, you're still please sell it today. So you don't got to be certified to sell a CHOB, but to specifically get The ones that we can control, we can't control all of it, but the ones that we have controlled into different ponds, like the BDX, like the one I mentioned earlier, which goes into realtor.com. It's a nice lead source, and we get quite a few of those that are on chalk.
Gotcha. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not aiming for child right away, but just in case.
Well, no, that's the thing though, is because here's why I used to love selling new homes. When I was a full-time agent, for me, it was like I could come into somebody's life, show them that there was something on there. All you see is a piece of land. It might be an old dirty house that we're going to tear down, but this is the vision. Now you pick your model. Pick one of these 5 models. These are the 5 that match your budget right here. These 5 are the cheapest one that match your budget. Or they're the 3-story, but you get everything you want. But it's so whatever it is, it's best for them. And people, for me, my dad used to joke me. He said, "You would hate to sell something that was real. You only like to sell dreams." He was like, "All you do is sell dreams." And that's how I sold like 20 of our houses in our first year of building. And it was all my own buyers off of our own leads. I sold 20 houses, only 14 of them closed because the rest of them had title issues. And that was when we first started building back in like 07, and we didn't know how to clear title issues yet. We didn't know all the crap about crazy stuff with land development, and
Yes.
So we dove in, and I was selling dreams because it was so daggone easy. I'm like, here are 40 pieces of land. Here is any model. We have 40 different models that you can alter anyway. Or you match the 2, and my job now is, I'm done. I'm moving on. You go sell your next house.
Right.
Yeah.
And you go through the experience with them. Go through the dream center with meeting with the designer. You learn so much about real estate by selling a chalk. So if it's your first sale, you're winning.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Everybody likes a new shiny penny, right?
They do.
And that's why, that's the beauty of the niche. Why Fit really continues the niche in new home advertising, because people love the idea of new. Yeah, they love it. And so, but then one of the hard parts is when you realize that they really can only get like, a 189 house, and there are new construction, not that Ken can build, that are 189, because we don't do that.
Yeah.
But there are builders out there that have 189 standing inventory right now in Hampton Road.
What do you mean, houses that are already have been built?
Just that are framed up and almost finished, or that are finished and ready to sell.
Why would they do that? Because they had somebody who wanted something custom, but then their finances fell through.
That's called specking, and they're all builders that are not all builders. Most builders that are actively building are building what is called speculative homes, and that is you just, as fast as you buy land, you build a house and you hope somebody buys it.
Yeah, and those guys in that price point, that 179 to 249, that's all they do is spec. So those people never had a buyer. They're just that product.
They don't even like. They don't like to custom build because it's such a long. It's more challenging. So that's where we've niched.
But they are new builds. You're saying though, they're just not changing their floor plans for people, is what you mean? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the most they let them pick normally is like that, the vinyl on the outside color.
Yeah.
The carpet color in some of the rooms.
Right.
So and maybe the countertop, maybe the cabinets if you get there early. One of my favorite guys locally that does cheaper is Ron Sawyer, is the agent who lists all their houses in Ralph Mello. And he's a Remax guy. And him and I have been buddies for like many years, and his builder does cheaper stuff. So
and they've always got they're a great resource. I don't know if we lately, as a team at Fit, have tapped into what they have available as well as we could, but they have a great resource of that 180 to 250 product. it's good product. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a $400,000
They
house.
build very nice homes.
But if you're spending $200,000, it's a $200,000 house.
Yeah,
I
it don't
hardly
have
ever see anything like that on Realtor.com because I look on Realtor.com all the time. I hardly ever see anything that's brand spanking new that's low price like that where it'll say like it's brand new, but maybe it just gets snapped up too fast.
Yeah, go to your MLS.
Yeah.
And search new construction.
Oh,
And
okay.
then pick Chesapeake, Suffolk, Norfolk. As an agent, you never really want to utilize the realtor as a source.
Right.
So you want to go in there and just do a new construction search, and you'll find some popping around Suffolk, Norfolk, Portsmouth, South Norfolk, and Chesapeake. You'll see all, just different ones. So then the key is, can they tolerate the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what, one thing that kind of caution you, don't assume that just because you won't live there, that other people won't be excited to live there and have a new home.
Right.
So that's a mistake I've seen a lot of newer agents make, and people can get offended because you're like, oh, I would never live in this neighborhood. Well, I would. I grew up in this freaking neighborhood. You never asked.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, what are you saying? You saying I'm a hood?
Right.
What are you
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And so, it's like, what is the consumer's tolerance, and do they want to have a gated community, or do they not mind a little bit of older neighborhoods here, there, that, and then, so it's, but if they need to be, and most of your consumers will not be happy with the neighborhood that's not at a 250 price range. But so that's a real reality. And so then you may end up doing the 250, 275, 299. And there's builders in those different places.
Yep. So
where Custom Homes Virginia has more of the custom building, and we don't do like Ryan Homes. When you go look at a Ryan Homes, have you ever seen their product?
No, not from off top of head.
Okay, so they're like a big national builder, and they're building a lot of houses right now in Hampton Roads that ate up a lot of the land.
They're 50% of the volume.
Yeah, they're just murdering it. But their homes are very cheap, and they put them out as like the very base price typically. And so
Right.
if you want fans in the house,
Yeah.
now that's $5,000. If you want,
I see that on HGTV shows. Yeah, it's kind of sickening. Like me personally, I wouldn't look at homes like that. But just for me, me as a buyer, because everything is an upgrade. Yeah, but you guys aren't like that.
We started what Kenton feels like will represent us as a building company, because I tried to get him not that many years ago to be like, man, can we get back in the cheap houses again, man? My agents would love it. They would sell them like crazy. And he looked at the numbers again. He's like, so I would have to take out this. I would have to take out this. I would have to take out this. And he's like, dude, I don't want my name on this product. Like, we are Custom Homes in Virginia. Yeah. And so that was a pivotal point where we just chose, okay, we are going to lean into custom, and we are setting our standard is just above other people's standard. And that does price some people out of our world, and that's okay. These other builders, a lot of them provide a pretty good product. And if you get somebody you think shady, just ask some of us that have been around a minute, shoot us a text, just be like, is this builder shady? There's only a few shady ones because they don't last long.
Yeah.
So if a shady builder pops up, Hampton Roads don't put up with a lot of crap. Like the military people and all that, if you do people wrong, they will let the world know.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying though. It's like I used to, even before I was in real estate, because I grew up a dirt poor kid. So I always like admired homes and stuff like that. And I used to go to open houses if it was a really fancy house, just because I like to look and stuff like that. And I know what you mean, like all these cheap, the cheap plastic bathtub inserts, all those light fixtures that look like boobs. Do you guys know what I mean? They're like in every house, but they do. I know. I'm not gonna say that to clients, but they do. They look like a boob or something. And it's like in every single. We looked at so many rental houses when my husband and I moved here, and that just
every
had
closet,
zero
every
charm.
bedroom.
Huh?
Every closet, every bedroom.
Yeah. And I'm like, come on, man. These people have no. I don't know, just no.
It's kind of funny though. When you look at some of the more custom homes, you actually will see some of that still.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah, and it's being cheap because like I go to Home Depot because sometimes like I'll get an old piece of wood furniture, and if it's super cheap, sometimes my husband and I will sand it down and then we'll like repaint it because that's super fun. So I go to like Home Depot and stuff, and I'll look at light fixtures and all that kind of stuff because I like it. And yeah, the boob light fixtures, they're like the cheapest ones.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
$10.
People are so cheap. Anyway,
so it's one of those things, So finding the right home for the client is something that the more you really study the MLS and see like what is actually out there in the price range of what the people I'm talking to can afford, really, that they can, the monthly payment, they can live with it. And getting familiar with that is going to be so valuable. And then it'll become second nature the more that you're digging and learning what is on the market. It will make it so that you talk to somebody, you're like, "Ooh, I got 4 good ideas right now that I bet that other agent you were talking to from Zillow didn't tell you. Let's go get my car." Yeah,
I just I finally found the new construction little yes or no box on MLS finally, and so yeah, there's 14. I did 160,000 plus dollars, and there's 1,432 brand new builds. Jeez.
Yeah, they're still hitting it.
Sell some houses. Sell some houses. All those people. You know what? If you didn't know, I bet 99% of the people that are in the pond don't know they can buy a new home. You could be the one to tell them for the first time.
That is true. It's just you got to sell them on the neighborhood, like you said. Yeah, because I'm seeing a lot of these are like Campella stuff.
Yeah, get them comfortable with whatever's right. Yeah. I mean, get a buyer consult because it's a real product.
What I would do a lot of times, or I would talk to my agent about doing, is maybe driving them around some areas that that they would really, really like, and maybe show them what their money can do. Yeah. And then drive them around an area where you're like, man, this is a beautiful home in here. It might not match all the rest of the houses, but if you're okay with this neighborhood, you get brand new everything. And it's the same amount of money as the raggedy old house with 1980 cabinets in it.
Yeah.
At that point, you are taking your knowledge of the market. You're allowing the client in a expedient amount of time, not 5 days, but in an expedient amount of time of seeing what is really available, what they really think they want, and then you, with your knowledge, showing them what they can really get, and that kind of stuff builds trust. And you might find that they very well would go to another neighborhood and get all the shiny new stuff.
Yeah, and it's not transactional, because that's a big thing with me. Is I had a lot of repeat clients when I did travel sales, because I wasn't. I took a lot of time with them, even if it was a really cheap Carnival cruise. If I liked them, and people always,
it goes a long way.
Yeah, like that's how I hope to be. So, yeah.
Yeah, like Kenton's saying, by showing them both of the options, because that really is how I would do it a lot. I would take them. Here's the resale homes, and tell me if this is a different approach than what I was thinking. But here's these few resale homes that you can afford. Here's some new homes that are not in exactly the areas that you were thinking, but I want you to see them. Right. So like off of Pewsville Road, people don't realize, that there's these amazing new construction homes back there that are $100,000 less than the new construction
What's that
everybody knows about that Eric Sasser's doing. And
What's
all
that
the
stuff
military people love that location because they can get to every little interstate right there.
Where's Pewsville Road, Suffolk?
It's at the Western Branch, Suffolk, Chesapeake line.
Oh, okay.
Right there, and half of it's in Chesapeake, half of it's in Suffolk.
Gotcha.
And then when you got people that are like want to be in Virginia Beach really bad, but they can't really afford it, show them what they can afford in Virginia Beach, and then roll them back over to Norfolk Highlands and that side of Chesapeake, and it's like 2 minutes. It's like on the border, and that also has close interstates. And I found a lot of people would be like, "Oh, why was I actually buying in Virginia Beach? I can have this brand new home." We're not doing houses over there much right now, but that's where you can get like a Weatherington home for like $279 that are nice houses, And so helping them to realize that, wait, Chesapeake's not so bad right over here in this Norfolk Highlands, this nice little neighborhoods and things like that. And boom, they say, forget that, and I'll just buy this right now, and that's it's a great. It's like taking them a little bit further and showing them the opportunity. Like that's how a lot of people end up in Suffolk, is because they're like, wait, I can live here, or I can drive another 10 minutes, and I can have this same house, but I get all this nice, not the same house. I get 30% better house.
Right.
Well, in Suffolk, I lived in Suffolk in 2000, but only for like 6 months in my young 20s. I lived in really cookie cutter neighborhood. I think it's called Burbage Landing or Burbage
Grant.
Burbage Grant, yeah. And the only thing about Suffolk was I worked in Virginia Beach, right? And that commute was hell, just to me personally. But anyway.
Well, now they've made the MLK, so they came up with Martin Luther King.
But my question Suffolk's obviously, because I've been gone from here since 2012. So Suffolk, have they added anything more like that has some actual culture now in Suffolk, like some real restaurants and not just chains everywhere, like that kind of thing? Because when I lived there, that's how Suffolk was.
You need to come to the new Suffolk, girl.
I would say
you might need a little tour.
I think I do.
The fastest growing city.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's remained the fastest growing city for a little bit. And
yeah.
so there's restaurants and stuff. Like my wife and I live 5 minutes from here. Kent lives 5 minutes from here. I live in Bob White Landing. We got Harbor View is just booming with beautiful restaurants and stores and shopping now.
Harbor View, I saw.
They got Bayport. College Drive has exploded.
Okay.
There are restaurants and big stores and stuff. All College Drive, which was
right there where Burbage Green is.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay.
That place is just
blown up.
Restaurants and stuff everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'll have to when I'm thinking about something like that, I'll have to have something in mind that I can instantly tell a client about. Yeah. So that's good. Harbor View.
Yeah, I think that
area on the water there.
What's that?
You mentioned a place called Harbor View. Is that like some little promenade area on water or something in Suffolk now?
It's a
golf course community on the water.
It's a community.
It's
it's got a hospital in it.
It's like 10 communities in one.
Yeah,
and it's got big it's got all the different grocery stores, and it's got
movie theaters.
Yeah, gotcha.
Thousands of houses.
Yeah.
Thousands.
Yeah, it's like multiple. It's
multiple communities.
It's like miles.
Yeah.
Of communities. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it obviously has built up a lot. Because when I lived there, I never hung out around Burbage Landing. I think you guys said, but all they had there when I was interstate was right beside it, but it had a Walmart, and an Olive Garden, and Applebee's, and that was it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But that was like in 2006 though, so yeah. A while ago.
It'll blow your mind then, because Kenton, he's been living right here since he grew up here, so he's watched it go from like dirt roads that are now highways. Now they're turning into 4 lanes. Like they're turning Shoulders Hill, which was like, ruggedy little road, bunch of old stuff on it. Back when I used to start hanging out with Kenton back I don't know how many years ago, 18 years ago. But it was nothing. I mean, it's a whole world now. Now they're expanding it. It's just keep going and going. So
I'll have to come out. I'll have to go out there and see.
yeah. So Donna, do you have any clients that we can help throw something? Anything overcome obstacles? Maybe Kenton could throw some tips.
No, not yet. I don't have anyone for new construction yet.
You started to get some clients in the car though?
I do.
Good.
We're all here, actually. It's Lisa, Virginia, Joanne, and Crystal. We're all with Donna together.
Oh, well, hello, ladies.
Hi.
Is there anything that you guys got going on out there that I can help you with?
I'm showing a new construction to a client today at 1 o'clock
Awesome. Where's it at?
in Hampton, and then they're coming back to the office. So we'll see. I'm going to show them the Dream Center after I show them that home.
Nice. Is it what's the builder?
Virginia Homes.
Virginia. Okay.
They're still out there. I thought they shut them.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, they've been around for a long time.
Yeah, they were a good builder.
Yeah.
And
So
also, I went to preview the home this morning, actually, and on the way back here, there's a Chesapeake Homes is building a new area right there called Mallory Point
Huh.
in
In
Hampton.
Hampton.
Mm-hmm. It's totally new.
I think I saw that on the internet.
That is funny. Wow, they're going everywhere. They used to not like you going on the peninsula a whole lot.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I'm gonna show the Virginia Homes home, and then I already spoke with the agent at Mallory Point, and then I'm gonna bring her back here. We were gonna actually start here, but we looked at something else in Hampton last week on Halloween. Was last week Halloween?
Okay. What's
and
your
so-
price point?
Well, it was $350, and they are willing to go a little bit higher, but also a little bit lower. So Virginia Homes, the one is $325, which they like that one. It's 5 bedrooms, and the ones at Mallory Point start at $305.9, and they go up to $374.9. So we'll see. I'll feel her out today and see where she is more.
Interesting. And they're all detached, single family?
Yes. And so I asked Benchek, he has that lot on Brogdon in Hampton, but he said that's going to be in the low 4s to build there.
How many square foot do they need?
Like 26 is where we're kind of looking around, 2,600.
5 bedrooms?
Yes, thereabouts. It could be 4.
Huh. Okay. And do they want to move in the next 30 days?
If they find something they like, but they're not rushing. But
Okay. I mean, I have that Pine Chapel they could at least look at where I have something that's 30 days from closing with 5 bedrooms.
Oh, I showed them Pine Chapel. I'm sorry. I showed them 2 of the Pine Chapel, and they actually like not the Riley. What's the other one? The Kelvin?
The Kelvin, yes.
They really like that one.
I could custom build. I still own 3 more lots out there. If they wanted to have a custom build at the end of the day, they would get to pick everything. I could build them one of those out there right in that price point.
So they want the Riley on the first floor and the Kelvin on the upper 2 floors. Can you do that? That's what they said.
That
Honestly.
sounds about right. They just need to sit down with me, and then I'll figure it out with them.
Okay. All right. I'll tell them that. So I'm going to show them those 2 homes, and then we're coming back here. So we'll see.
Sweet. Okay, awesome. Well, I still got a few lots that I can be creative with out there. So,
At Pine Chapel?
Yep, on Pine Chapel. Yep. So I could, really get creative with whatever they would want, making it the way they would want it. So,
What lots do we have, like right there in Hampton? Anything else besides Brogdon?
we got the one on Brogdon. We got the ones in Pine Chapel, and I think that might be all of our Hampton lots.
Okay. All right.
And that, if you get a chance, if you're out that way, to look at the Brogdon, it really is a wonderful. Like we built several homes in that neighborhood, And it's a very nice, like, been there a long time, very kind of nice feel neighborhood.
So before I come back to the office with them, I'm going to go by that Brogdon lot after we see the other two homes.
That's good. Yeah, and they'll see we built 4 houses on Brogdon last year, so they can see a couple of our houses be right there on that street.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else as you've got people in the car, how are you helping them decide between new home and resale?
That they are not able to afford a new home. In my case,
What's their price point?
200.
That's Virginia.
I'm hiding.
I know your voice, Virginia. Kenton might not though.
Well, I mean, we were talking about that 200.
I'm back. Oh, are you?
Yeah, have you gone in MLS and just double checked to make sure there's not some neighborhoods that there are 200,000 that they might be okay with? They're not their style.
And then I just found somebody yesterday, but we have to look at land and stuff, so I'll get with you on that.
Okay.
They want to.
What are they
They
looking
want to build for a couple years. They evidently had been in our system before looking for land that was $50,000 in Suffolk, but it was sold to an investor. I don't know what they were talking about, but he wouldn't give me his last name yet, but I convinced him that if I found something, he would use me. So I'm going to look for land. And he said, or a home on 2 to 5 acres, somewhere between here and Allen White, to build in the next 2 years for $500,000 or less. Did you get all that?
Yeah. Well, what was his name?
Donald. That's all I know. I said, I think it said Dunn. And I said, I think here it says your name is Don because I didn't know what his name was. And he said, yeah, it's short for Donald, but he wouldn't give me his last name because it just said Dunn as his name in the computer. And he had an email, but he had a real phone number. I don't know.
Mickey Mouse.
That's right. But he works at the shipyard, so he doesn't want to get too much further out than Isle of Wight, but he doesn't want to be in the city, and he wants trees and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's out here.
So there you go.
All right. Well, you let me know. Let me know whenever I can.
Yeah, I'm like his wish list sounds like so easy. I'm like, bring him over, wrap it up. There's
Well, he won't talk to me until we find something. So we have to suggest some things for him to look at first, and then he'll, yeah.
Oh,
We just need to create a sense of urgency. We need to give him a reason to want to meet.
And I'll tell you what.
You tell me what to tell.
I mean, one of the things is interest rates. Like if he were to build now, and he moved in his house in 8 months, his interest rate is going to be at a historic, amazing low. And if he waits 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and just buys the lot, you know what I mean, and doesn't build, then what? Good Lord knows what his interest rate might be.
He was concerned about the election that just happened, and he said, we're going to have so many taxes and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I was going to talk to you about that because I don't know. Tell me.
The election season does bring a lot of sense of fear and unknown.
Unwarranted.
And if the better you can get at helping people to get past that, then that will help your sales not to decline when the market goes through those 1-2 month depression, things. People are like, oh my God, this person's going to be president. We're all going to die. And you got to be like, no, now's the time to buy. When other people freeze, now's when you take action. And that's when you get the best price, the best rate, all that. So you have to help them overcome that. And it's a fear you guys are going to have running all the way till next year. So you better get good because it's going to be good. You got to have a class.
I'm telling you, and this is the thing, it's a perceived fear. Yeah. So if you don't own it and you don't believe it and you don't walk in it, I don't think you'll have a problem with it.
I just feel like he would be since he has that fear, he would be more willing to do it sooner than later because, the
Oh,
taxes
yes.
go up tomorrow, and it'll be a little bit. So we might,
Rates and taxes.
but
And,
I don't know enough, so y'all have to tell me what to tell him. So anyway. I was going to talk to you today about it, but I talked to him at 7:00 last night. He was trying to hang up on me, but I kept talking, and I never stopped talking. So it worked. And he was laughing. He was like, "Okay."
let me go to bed. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I convinced him to let me at least look at something and call him when I find something. And I promised him that no one would bother him until we actually found something. Okay?
All right. Well, we better get to finding.
I
All
know.
right.
Well, Virginia reminds me of somebody. I'm sorry. Virginia reminds me of somebody that I have. The same kind of person. He's an older retired. They're an older retired couple. They want a ranch, something like the Elaine, maybe 1,600 square feet, and they are willing to go to 350 thereabouts. But they want like a third of an acre in somewhere in Chesapeake. And I don't know what to sell them. And he's not willing to look or talk or do anything because he knows everything. They built 4 houses before. This is their final retirement home. And if I have it for him, great. If not, don't bother him.
That's so hard.
How about a 203K?
Well, yeah, his new construction expectation is going to be difficult. If he wants, 350 in Chesapeake those two things are hard to find. Period in new construction.
Right.
Unless he is, willing to be somewhat compromisable on his location. You might be able to build in a lane in that 350 range in that Norfolk Highlands area.
No, they won't go to Norfolk Highlands.
Yeah, he probably wants to be in like Great Bridge or Hickory.
Well, he doesn't want to be all the way down in Hickory because not worried about kids. Their youngest is 40 years old. So they're not worried about children and schools. But what they are worried about is a nice location that, like Greenbrier or something, is fine with them. But, and he wants a third of an acre.
But unfortunately, finding a third of an acre in Greenbrier for under $100,000 is going to be miraculous.
Because it's fine for a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of people that would say okay to that.
I'm going to bring new construction at Greenbrier for $3.
Well, that's the guy. That's kind of like Virginia reminded me of him. I kind of put him in mind.
One thing you could think about, I don't know if you could pitch the idea to him of doing a 203K loan and trying to find him. You could go to the community directory site we have and set yourself up on a drip of ranches or, something in the zip codes that you think he might be interested. And then watch for properties that come up that he might be able to do a 203K reno loan.
Okay. And would we do the reno or no?
No, but OVM or town will have a list of approved contractors that they work with.
Okay.
And so that's not something that our building company does. We just build houses,
right.
Custom houses now. We used to tinker that and Kenton, and it's just it's a headache. But they've got a lot of people, and these guys will, some of them will be good. I would ask Matt, directly. I would just be like, ask Matt Beckwith, and do you guys know, has this guy done jobs for you yet? Do you know his quality? But possibly they can get a deal done that way.
Okay. All right. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Do you have any ideas on, like, if you have a buyer who says that their credit score is great, and every time you call them, though, I talked to them once or twice, but now it's like they never pick up. But then out of the blue, they called and asked me for a lender. So I gave them the lender, and now I'm still having a hard time contacting him or getting him to contact me. I've sent them some listings of
the criteria they're looking for, and it just.
What were they?
The lender you sent them to, was that in the last few days?
About a week ago.
Did you follow up with that lender to see how the conversation went?
They never called them.
So they never, they got the number but never called the lender.
Right, because normally when I send them to a lender, they call me to let me know.
Yeah, and I would also encourage you to have the lender, call them at a set time.
Is there a house they were interested in that did y'all do any shopping at all?
No,
Okay. And they haven't liked the listing?
they liked the listing. They came out to see it, and they weren't interested. But they came out to Portlock. They weren't interested, but they want to find a condo.
Okay. So they gave you a price range that listing ran for that they felt comfortable with?
Anywhere from what they're running out Portlock up to 300.
Well, then I would double team this person. I would get up with the loan officer and ask the loan officer to either call, email, text, or something to them saying, hey guys, this is what we're looking at for a payment if we can find a product at this price range. And then I would also be trying to call and text them and give them that payment information along with anything else that you found that might match that same criteria between now and then. And I would try to warm them up with something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea to have the lender call them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Get it from two sides.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And you can shoot a little video like Lisa's with you, right? So Lisa, she can to say, hey, shoot that little video. Shoot them a video to say, listen, I've been working on this for y'all. Now I got these 5 houses I want to show you, and I'm having the lender give you a call. I'm super excited. You guys thinking this weekend's gonna work out?
Yep. They all fit in that $1,100 or less per month that you guys
I've
would
already
feel
got it
comfortable with.
down with the lender. He's calling you too. We're gonna help you. We're not giving up on you. We're helping you. We're gonna help you together get this done.
Yep.
It's like this.
He's a truck driver, so I'm thinking he either got to be real busy or I don't know what's going on with him. But he did tell me he's a truck driver. He's on the road a lot.
Yep, and that'll happen.
Yeah,
I would just keep coming at it.
yeah, don't
Take me all the time everywhere.
be the agent that goes more aggressive and continues to convince them that you're the person. But do it with some good information.
Yeah, that's the key is giving them good information.
Getting some good information, but don't just email a listing,
Yeah.
That's everybody can be shooting them out.
Yeah, you want to grab that value.
Yeah. Because he get talking to somebody, he submits his information on some internet site. He might get talking to 10 other agents. You don't want him to forget about you.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
All right, guys.
All right.
You have a wonderful day. We look forward to doing this again in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good rest of the week.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.